So I'm actually going to start out this video by breaking the norm. I know that a lot of you have probably seen plenty of other Star Wars Jedi Survivor reviews that are saying that the game is crap or that they don't recommend it. I do recommend it with a caveat. At the moment, the PC version of the game is really unstable. I have a God PC and I still get varied frame rate on medium settings. I can't attest to how well or how badly the game is optimized for console, but I'm assuming, as with most AAA games, it was a console game that got ported to PC very poorly. My point being is that if you want to wait until it's become a little bit more stable, then you should probably do that. Otherwise, I can easily recommend this game just on gameplay alone. The story is actually really cool and really competent. You're not getting something like God of War level of emotion, but you are getting a good Star Wars story that's better than most of the Disney movies. There's a lot of new characters in Jedi Survivor, and a lot of them will die. I don't want to spoil which ones do, but I'm just saying that I appreciate the fact that characters would actually have very quick deaths rather than something more drawn out. For me, I would personally like to see some of the main characters bite the bullet, but that's also just because I'm a bit of a cynic. So the main bad guy was basically in a time chamber, so he's a boomer who doesn't understand anything that happened with the Clone Wars, but he still is evil regardless. He definitely fits the narrative, and I did enjoy all of his henchmen. Lastly, I'll say that the story and narrative is what's going to push you to keep playing this game just because it is so good. But at the very least, while you're jumping from cutscene to cutscene, the gameplay is very well done. Parkour in particular got a huge upgrade this time, and even the map, it's a lot more expansive. There's a lot more to explore. You can finally fast travel between your save stations or bonfires or whatever. And look at that! Dual lightsabers are their own stance. Unfortunately, for all the good things that I can say about Jedi Survivor, the combat is my least favorite. I didn't really think that the Souls-like combat was a good fit for this genre of video game when it was in Fallen Order, and I still don't think it's a good fit for Jedi Survivor. It's not that the combat is necessarily bad, it's just really shallow. Maybe it's because I'm a Star Wars fan, or maybe it's because I played Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy in my youth, but the idea that a lightsaber will not one-shot the enemies just doesn't make sense to me. Almost everything that you fight in this game is extremely tanky and makes you yourself feel underpowered. For all the different force abilities you end up getting, most of them aren't useful during combat.
No glory in combat.
And again, referring to Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast, the way that that game ended up handling combat is that a lightsaber would almost definitely one-shot whatever you were fighting. The difficulty came in the fact that enemies could one-shot you. So suddenly lightsaber battles became a really big and intense moment. Like, this is one of those games where you'd say, I want to get Dark Souls, and then your mom would say, but we got Dark Souls at home. I don't want to spend the entire video roasting the combat, but just to show you how simplistic it is, here's me fighting against a very basic stormtrooper. You'll notice that I get to hit him a few times before he ends up automatically deflecting my attack, and then he retaliates. Every single enemy in the game does this. Even the bosses do it. It's so annoying. Like, I have a lightsaber and they're deflecting it with, like, what, a stick? If that wasn't bad enough, enemy attacks will interrupt your attacks, regardless of if they're heavy attacks, light attacks, and even regardless of your lightsaber stance. So the crossguard is in the game and is basically the two-handed greatsword, but none of your attacks with this slow, weighty weapon have follow-through. You can get interrupted by a basic enemy. And as if that wasn't bad enough, your attacks have to completely follow through with their animation before you regain control and are able to dodge or block. Now, all of this would be excusable if you only fought like maybe a handful of enemies at a time, but it seems like they just kind of copy and pasted them all over the place. Small skirmishes can quickly get out of hand, and in no way did I ever feel like I was a powerful, competent Jedi. The funny thing is that one of my friends ended up mentioning that if I was playing as the Mandalorian or a character that wasn't a Jedi, the combat would actually fit a lot better. And to that, I completely agree. I think that the combat system in this game is fine. It just doesn't suit playing as a Jedi. So what's my end verdict? Well, assuming that this game didn't have performance issues right now, I would rate it a 4 out of 5. It's a very solid game that Star Wars fans are going to enjoy all the way through, I think. Again, my personal issue with the game is that the combat just doesn't really click for me. It doesn't fit, but it doesn't take anything away from the experience. The game's gonna take you around 15 hours or more to beat the main story, but it could be considerably more than that if you want to 100% this game. Exploring and doing side objectives is usually going to reward you with either increased health, increased force capacity, or most times cosmetics. And yes, there are more outfits than just ponchos. I'd also like to mention that if you're erring on the side of caution and you don't want to purchase this game for full price, you can actually play it for $20 because all you have to do is have a subscription to the EA Play Pro membership for 20 bucks a month, and then you could just cancel your subscription after you're done with the game.
Yeah, one was enough.
No, it wasn't.